Hey everyone, welcome to the first 15, where I conversationally talk about my first 15 minutes with the game, my first experiences. So this isn't going to be very, formal. This is me talking to the mic, letting you guys know how I felt about my first 15 minutes of the game. Today we're talking about Tokyo 42, which if you didn't know is from SMAC Games. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's SMAC Games. It's coming out May 31st, so tomorrow, as of the day this is going up. It's a cool game. I was fortunate enough to get a code from Mode 7, the publishers behind the game, so full transparency, I was provided this code, just to let you guys know up front. But yeah, Tokyo 42, I've played about an hour of it, but I'm only showing you guys the first 15 minutes, and so far I'm really enjoying my time with it. This is a game that I kind of had pegged on my list of games I wanted to get around to playing because it was very interesting. Its aesthetic was very inviting, very different. Didn't look like a lot of other things out there, and that's what really captured me the first time. Has this weird third-person perspective, but like really far out. The first note I kind of went with is it reminds me a lot of Fez, and as I continued playing the game, I felt that it did have a lot of similarities to Fez. I mean, if you haven't played Fez, it's a tremendously great game in and of its own right, and it was all about changing perspective. And Tokyo 42 takes the same mechanic and does it beautifully. I mean, the art in the game is fantastic. The style of it, it's very poppy. The game's called Tokyo 42, and it definitely has that that Japanese downtown vibe, you know. And I really enjoy it. I love the colors. I love the bright colors with the whites and the more subtle tones. Going in, I didn't know what this game was going to be. I wasn't sure exactly what was going to be going on. From the trailers and stuff, it seemed like you're going to be going after people, and I knew the perspective thing was huge too. As I kept playing it, first off, let me get into the music. It was very energetic, upbeat. I like it a lot. It's very stylized. This is Tokyo in the 80s, right? So that's how at least it feels to me. It's has a lot of Blade Runner vibes and a lot of those 80s action movies that a lot of people came to love. And like I said, the music is very good. It's very high energy. You kind of get high strung at parts. The game starts off right away putting you in the situation, which I don't think is a spoiler too much, but if you consider this a spoiler, then maybe skip ahead in the video about a minute or so. But you start off in this room and you find out that somebody's been killed, and essentially you're framed for the murder. And the funny thing is, the way they go about it is in this world, people don't really die unless they're off of their medication. But in order to save yourself from being framed for murder, you have to start killing people, which is kind of funny, or at least going after them. I think the controls are pretty intuitive. You're going to see me throughout the video struggle a little bit, but I did enjoy my time with it. Once again, for these first 15 minutes, I don't know if I'm always going to be talking for the whole 15, because I don't know if I have a whole lot to say. But as soon as I'm done talking, I'm just going to bring up the gameplay and let you guys watch it from there. So I don't know how much longer I'll be talking, but just so you guys know. So right now I think there's a lot of gun variety. Obviously I'm very early in the game, so I don't have access to everything, but the save points are really intuitive. Like I said, changing perspective is really cool. The game has a lot of light platforming elements, which I really love. Platformers are my personal type of favorite games, and it incorporates that to some extent. Now you have to be careful because the changing of perspective can help you or hurt you when it comes to platforming. So you have to be very careful about what perspective you're looking at when you're trying to navigate through these building areas. One thing that was surprising to me is that you can do the close quarter combat stuff. There's a lot of like active combat with you having to dodge bullets, but there's also very subtle, very intimate, sniping kills, which require a little bit more finesse. There's grenades. So far from what I've played it seems like everything's set up in a fashion to make you tackle different things in different manners. So it doesn't seem like the game gets very repetitive because you have all of these guns and all of these things you can buy at the shop to give you different ways to play the game, and it looks, just from what I'm saying, it's really cool. What else? Like I said before, the art style is A++. This is one of the prettiest games I've seen in a long time. I'm playing it on Xbox One. I didn't say that at the top of the show, but it really doesn't matter. It runs well on the Xbox One. And like I said before, the replayability is a huge thing to me. From what I'm seeing is I can go through this game and tackle things different ways. Obviously, early on in the game, the tutorial levels want you to use certain guns in certain situations just to kind of get you used to the game, right? But it seems as the game goes on, you can kind of tackle things on your own volition, which is really huge. The big thing for me, the one-liner, I think for me, if I was pitching this game, if I had an elevator pitch to tell somebody, I would say Fez meets Hitman. And I think it's a brilliant way to put it because maybe you can do like Neo Retro Fez meets Hitman or something like that. But I really think that the Fez aspects are huge. The changing perspectives, figuring out where to tackle things from, figuring out what's the best way to take out a target. And the target thing, you're an assassin essentially, and that's Hitman. And the replayability in Hitman is what makes Hitman great from IO Interactive. And I really think that the developers of Tokyo 42 definitely nailed that vibe. Like I said, if you like Fez and if you like Hitman, this is a beautiful merger of the two. The art style is impeccable. The sound design is really good. The music is very great. So what I would say is I'm hopefully going to be coming out with the review in the next week or so. But if you have this game on your radar, and if you've enjoyed Fez and played Fez and just loved Fez or Hitman, I think this is a game that you can definitely try out. I think right now I'm sitting on a positive. There are some issues I have with the game. Like I said, the platforming elements when you're changing perspective are a little rough, and some of the controls aren't super intuitive. But overall, I'm pretty net positive on this, and I'm going to be interested to see where this game takes me as far as when I complete it and replayability. There's a whole multiplayer aspect that I haven't really tuned into, so hopefully I have more on that in my review, and we can talk about that, whether or not it's a good multiplayer, if there's any lag, anything like that. But overall, I think the bullet points for you guys before I let you go to watch the rest of the gameplay if you'd like. This is Fez meets Hitman. Great music, energetic, high energy, and, the changing perspective is great. The light platforming, the gun variety, the art style is fantastic, and I think this has a lot of promise. And I hope, my hope is that when I complete this game, that I'll still have this net positive feeling on it. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I think Tokyo 42 is a very interesting and very original concept that takes things we're familiar with, mashes them together, and makes something very entertaining out of it. So, hopefully, you guys enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.